Listen up. Yes, I'm talking to you, husband. So-called forever chemicals can be found in almost everything, even your body. The chemicals can be linked to a list of harmful health effects, including several types of cancer and even infertility. And they've recently gained attention for being used in some types of cookware that many of us, including myself and my husband, still have at home. The state of Minnesota just became the toughest state in the country for trying to crack down on their use. Minnesota State Senator Judy Seeberger joining me now. Thank you so much for your time. First of all, talk to me about where we are finding some of these forever chemicals.
Yeah, they're really in everything. The more I worked on this legislation, the more I discovered that the PFAS chemicals are found in pretty much every consumer good out there. They're in dental floss, they're in menstrual products, they're in cookware, like you mentioned, they're in ski wax, microwave popcorn. So just about everything that you use in your everyday life probably has some connection to PFAS.
Including non-stick cookware, right? I mean, this is just one of the many products in our homes where we can find these forever chemicals. So tell us more about the dangers of these chemicals, because there were some lawsuits that were filed as a result and a law passed in Minnesota as a result.
Yes, so the use of PFAS has been linked to a number of different health conditions, fertility issues, some cancers, and the long-term effects really aren't well known. But I think there's enough research out there and enough links in the medical communities to give us grave concern to the ubiquitous nature of these products and the fact that they bioaccumulate, which means that once they're in your body, they tend to build up over time. We don't get rid of them.
So what made you so passionate about this law? Because as of January 1st of this year, the sale of these products that intentionally contain these forever chemicals are now banned. What was the impetus for you?
Well, the impetus really came because where I live is sort of the epicenter of PFAS contamination in the eastern metro area of the Twin Cities of Minnesota. I live in a town called Afton, and we are on a well for our water, and our well is contaminated with PFAS. There's a plume that started in a nearby city and kind of traveled to the aquifer, and so now we have big filters in our basement to filter the water. And it's something that we've known about in my community for quite some time. We've been following the PFAS contamination in our area for a number of years. And like I said, the more I looked into it, the more I saw that PFAS was everywhere. And it was quite alarming.
Yeah, it really is alarming when you read just the list of all the items that contain these chemicals. Just curious, have you gotten any pushback about the law from other lawmakers, maybe business owners or constituents?
I haven't heard from any constituents with regard to the law in a negative connotation. Most folks are really supportive of it and grateful that we are doing something to combat the introduction of additional PFAS into our environment. I have heard from a dealer of power sports who has some questions about whether youth ATVs and mini bikes are included in the ban that we put on intentionally added PFAS to juvenile products. So I've been working with the dealers on that issue and the manufacturers to ensure that folks can still ride their ATVs, but we're not introducing these harmful chemicals into our environment.
Logistically, though, how would it work? I mean, will stores have to go through their inventories, or will the manufacturers have to tell the retailers to pull these things off their shelves as a result?
There should have been plenty of lead time. This law was passed in 2023. Industry was well aware of the law when we passed it. They were involved in the discussions. They were watching very closely what we did. So there really shouldn't be any reason why a retailer down the chain shouldn't have had adequate notice that some of their products would be unable to be sold in Minnesota as of January 1st of this year. To the extent that that happened, yeah. I'm hopeful they can work with their manufacturers. And certainly I'd be willing to listen from anybody who may be negatively impacted by this law.
And perhaps this law will catch on to other states. Minnesota State Senator Judy Seeberger, thank you for your time.